welcome to K News. This is Hardik Trivedi. Let's have a look what is happening in India and in the world. North Korea is believed to have up to 60 nuclear bombs and the world's third largest stockpile of chemical weapons totaling to 5,000 tons. The US Army said in a report. The US Department of the Army headquarters made the assessment in its report titled North Korean Tactics, saying Pyongyang is unlikely to give up these weapons to ensure the regime's survival. The Seoul-based agency reported on Tuesday. Estimates for North Korean nuclear weapons range from 20 to 60 bombs, with the capability to produce 6 new devices each year, the report said. The report also showed that Pyongyang is estimated to possess 2,500 to 5,000 tons of chemical weapons of approximately 20 different types, making it the third largest possessor of chemical agents in the world. The regime has also done research on biological weapons and possibly weaponized anthrax or smallpox, which could be mounted atop missiles for use against South Korea, the US and Japan. North Korea is also believed to have secured advanced computer warfare capabilities, which is another key means of coercive diplomacy, according to the report. 14 rockets hit a diplomatic district and other neighborhoods of Kabul on Tuesday, injuring a total of 10 people, as Afghanistan marked its 101st Independence Day, a spokesman of the Interior Ministry confirmed. At 9:36 a.m., 14 rounds of rockets were fired from 2 sedans from Police District 8 and 17 into the city center. Most of the rockets hit residential houses, injuring 10 people. Xinhua news agency quoted ministry spokesman Tariq Aryan as saying in a tweet. Local media footage showed several vehicles and houses damaged by the rocket explosions, and initial reports found that rockets struck Police District 1, 2, 9, 10 and 16. The blast sent columns of thick smoke into the sky in several locations and triggered panic. The Capitol Police have arrested 2 suspected terrorists from Police District 17 after the rocket attack, according to Aryan. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack yet. Afghanistan on Tuesday marked the 101st anniversary of its independence from British occupation amid the worsening security situation. Floods in mountainous southwest China have washed away roads and forced tens of thousands from their homes, with authorities warning Wednesday the giant Three Gorges Dam was facing the largest flood peak in its history. Footage on state broadcaster CCTV showed murky water lapping at the feet of the Leshan giant Buddha, a 71-meter tall figure carved into a cliffside of Sichuan province. Video footage showed soldiers evacuating residents wearing life jackets. Around 1,000 people had been stranded in Fangzhou, suffering food and water shortages after floodwaters cut off road traffic, state news agency Xinhua said. More than 1 lakh people have been evacuated as the cities of Yan and Leshan were hit by floods. State media footage also showed 3 trunks and lower branches submerged in water, and in one dramatic shot, a small building collapsed into rushing floodwaters and was carried away. Another UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Xingyao National Park, said it would temporarily close due to safety concerns. Elsewhere in Sichuan, 21 vehicles fell into a large hole caused by a collapsed road early on Wednesday. although the state-run Global Times said there was no injuries. Xinhua said floodwaters were expected to hit the downstream metropolis of Conquering later this week. Former US President Bill Clinton has launched a scathing attack on Donald Trump, saying the Oval Office under him is a chaotic storm center instead of being a command center, and for him the presidency is about spending hours a day watching TV and zapping people on social media and not taking responsibility for his actions. Donald Trump says, "We are leading the world." Well, we are the only major industrial economy to have its unemployment rate triple, Bill Clinton said in his address to the second day of the 2020 Democratic National Convention that formally nominated former Vice President Joe Biden as the party's presidential candidate. Indian American Senator Kamala Harris will be Joe Biden's running mate. Mr. Clinton said a presidential election is the world's most important job interview, and this year the election is a tall order given that the COVID-19 outbreak has killed over 170,000 people and destroyed millions of jobs and small businesses. At a time like this, the Oval Office should be a command center. Instead, it is a storm center. There is only chaos. Just one thing never changed: his determination to deny responsibility and shift the blame. The buck never stops there, Mr. Clinton said. Slamming Donald Trump's response to dealing with the pandemic, Bill Clinton said at first the US president said the virus was under control and would soon disappear. When it did not, he was on TV every day bragging on what a great job he was doing, while scientists waited to give us vital information. When he did not like the expert advice he was given, he ignored it, Clinton said. A privately operated bus with passengers on board was hijacked by recovery agents of a finance company in Uttar Pradesh's Agra on Wednesday morning, officials said. The incident took place in the Malapura police station area when the bus was en route to Patna in Madhya Pradesh from Gurgaon in Haryana, according to the police. Senior Superintendent of Police Bablu Kumar said 3 people who got off the bus informed the police that representatives of the finance company had boarded the vehicle. Preliminary information reveals the bus has been taken away by the people from a finance company which had financed this bus. A case has been registered and police teams formed to search for it, Kumar said. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on Wednesday alleged that around 2 crore people lost their jobs in last 4 months amid the coronavirus pandemic and asserted that the truth about unemployment cannot be hidden from the country. Citing a media report, he said in a tweet, in the last 4 months, around 2 crore people have lost their jobs. The future of 2 crore families is in the dark. The truth about unemployment and destruction of the economy cannot be hidden from the country by peddling fake news and hatred on Facebook. The news report cited by Gandhi claimed that around 1.89 crore jobs were lost due to the coronavirus pandemic from April onwards. A massive political row broke out after a report by Wall Street Journal last week alleged that senior Facebook executives had opposed applying hate speeches rules to posts by certain BJP leaders, with the BJP and the Congress engaged in a bitter war of words over the issue. We cannot allow any manipulation of our hard-earned democracy through bias, fake news and hate speech, as exposed by WSJ. Facebook's involvement in peddling fake and hate news needs to be questioned by all Indians, Gandhi tweeted on Tuesday. Hitting back at the Congress, Union Information Technology Minister and senior BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad said people whose political base has shrunk like anything seek to dominate discourse on these platforms, and asserted that everybody, regardless of his ideology, has the right to air views. He said former Congress President Rahul Gandhi believes that any organization that does not work to his liking is acting under the pressure of the BJP and the RSS. Pakistan Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa, who started his Saudi Arabia visit on Monday to calm diplomatic strains, has been declined a meeting with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. General Bajwa had to settle for a meeting with the Deputy Defence Minister Sheikh Khalid bin Salman, also the younger brother of the Crown Prince. Bajwa is learned to have conveyed the Imran Khan government's apology over Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi's statement that criticized Saudi Arabia over the reluctance of the Organization of Islamic Countries to convene a meeting of IOC foreign ministers to discuss Kashmir. But the regret conveyed to Deputy Defence Minister Sheikh Khalid bin Salman during their meeting on Tuesday did not get Islamabad any further in Riyadh. General Bajwa's interaction in the kingdom were limited to Saudi's defence establishment, just as Pakistan military had claimed after news of General Bajwa's trip was leaked back home. General Bajwa is accompanied on this visit by the ISI Chief Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid. Pakistan has long pressed the Saudi-led OIC to convene a high-level meeting to highlight alleged Indian violations in the part it controls, but hasn't got its way so far. It's time for a short break. We'll join you in a short while.
दुनिया की नजर आज हम पर टिकी है, जिसमें सिर्फ एक सवाल है, हमारा अगला कदम क्या है। तो जवाब ये है कि हम तैयार हैं पूरी तरह। पूरी दुनिया का दिल जीतने के लिए। अहमियत इस बात की नहीं कि आप किन बुलंदियों पर हैं, बल्कि इस बात की है कि यहां पहुंचने का हौसला किससे मिला। देश की मिट्टी से। कचारिया देश की मिट्टी से बनी टाइल से देश को बनाते हैं।
Live the Ken lifestyle with Ken Star.
Welcome back to K News and thank you for watching. Let's continue the streak of news. The Supreme Court on Wednesday rejected actor Riya Chakravarti's petition to transfer the investigation from Patna to Mumbai in Sushant Singh Rajput's death case. The court said that Bihar government was competent to give consent to CBI for probing into the Patna FIR. A single judge bench of Justice Rishikesh Roy pronounced the judgment. The bench held that the contents as disclosed by the FIR registered in Patna indicate that even Mumbai police has jurisdiction. The apex court had reserved its judgment on Chakravarti's petition after a hearing on August 11. In her petition, Chakravarti said that the Bihar police have no jurisdiction in the case and that the actor's death was being used for political gains ahead of elections in the state. Heightened media attention and sensationalizing of the case is another ground on which Chakravarti has sought the transfer of the case to Mumbai. Based on Rajput's father K.K. Singh's complaint that Riya Chakravarti was responsible for abetment of his son's suicide, Patna police registered an FIR on July 25. Singh also alleged that Chakravarti illegally transferred rupees 15 crore from Rajput's bank account. However, the actor has denied all allegations and maintained that she will cooperate with investigation launched by the ED. Meanwhile, Singh was quizzed by the ED on his son's finances on Tuesday. The CBI also registered a case against Chakravarti and 3 members of her family members. The Union Cabinet on Wednesday approved the setting up for a national recruitment agency to conduct a common eligibility test for job hunters. The new decision will benefit job seekers of the country and help in selecting candidates for different sectors. Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change Prakash Javadekar said at briefing. There are more than 20 recruitment agencies currently under the central government. Although we are taking exams of only 3 common agencies as of now. In course of time, we will be able to have one common eligibility test for all recruitment agencies in the country, Secretary C. Chandramouli said. Bringing in transformational reform in the recruitment process for central government jobs, the cabinet has announced the creation of NRA to make the process of applying for such jobs easier for the youth. The NRA will be a multi-agency body which will encompass the first level test by the Staff Selection Commission, the Railway Recruitment Boards and the Institute of Banking Service Personnel. A common eligibility test will be held to screen candidates at the first level of SSC, RRBs and IBPs. The CET will be held online for graduates. Domestic equity benchmark Sensex rose 86 points on Wednesday, led by gains in Reliance, HDFC and ICICI Bank amid positive cues from global markets. After touching a high of 38,788 during the day, the BSE Sensex settled 86 points higher at 38,614. The NSE Nifty rose 23 points and settled at 11,408. Tech Mahindra was the top gainer in the Sensex pack, rising around 2%, followed by Bharti Airtel, Maruti, ICICI, SBI, HDFC Bank, Asian Paints and Reliance Industries. On the other hand, Bajaj Auto, ONGC, Nestle, HUL and Kotak Bank were among the laggards. Exchange data showed that foreign institutional investors bought equities worth rupees 1,134 crore on a net basis on Tuesday. Bourses in Tokyo and Seoul ended on a positive note, while Shanghai and Hong Kong were in the red. Stock exchanges in Europe were trading with steady gains in early deals. Investors are also awaiting cues from the minutes of US Federal Reserve's meeting. Global oil benchmark Brent crude was trading 0.66% lower at US dollars 45.16 per barrel. In the forex market, the rupee settled 6 paise lower at 74.82 against the US dollar. Visuals of traffic jams, submerged roads and underpasses, and a boat moving on a waterlogged road emerged from Gurgaon after the Haryana city, which houses plush buildings belonging to leading multinational companies and sprawling shopping malls, was completely paralyzed by heavy rains. Cars and other vehicles were seen crawling on roads filled with water, exposing the city's lack of planning to deal with monsoon. The most astonishing visual of waterlogging emerged from the streets near DLF Cyber City, where scores of companies have their offices. The entire area seen submerged in muddied water. Several of underpasses in Gurgaon were completely submerged, forming deep pools of water. A massive traffic jam was seen on Delhi-Gurugram Expressway. Visuals from the site showed slow-moving cars backing the road. According to the IMD, the national capital Delhi and surrounding areas are likely to get more rainfall till August 23. The temperature would range between 25 and 35 degrees Celsius. Hong Kong has banned Air India flights till the end of August after some passengers on one of its flights tested positive for COVID-19 post-arrival, a senior government official said on Wednesday. Passengers from India can arrive in Hong Kong only if they have a COVID-19 negative certificate from a test done 72 hours prior to the journey, according to rules issued by the Hong Kong government in July. Moreover, all international passengers are required to take a post-flight COVID-19 test at the airport premises in Hong Kong. Some passengers who landed in Hong Kong on one of Air India's flights recently tested COVID-19 positive post-arrival, the government officials say. The Hong Kong government has banned all Air India flights till August end, the official added. Air India did not respond to the request for comment. Besides India, a pre-flight COVID-19 negative test result certificate is mandatory for all passengers coming from Bangladesh, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Nepal, South Africa, United States, according to the Hong Kong government's rules. The Supreme Court's verdict on Tuesday refusing to order the transfer of PM CARES fund to COVID relief to NDRF will be contested for a long time in academic circles, veteran Congress leader P. Chidambaram said, putting out what he termed vital questions on the transparency, disclosure and management practices of the PM CARES fund. Supreme Court has delivered a judgment on the legality and legal accountability of PM CARES fund. The judgment is final, but we will contest it for a long time in academic circles, Mr. Chidambaram said in a series of tweets. The Supreme Court had rejected a petition that said the government should be directed to transfer contributions made to PM CARES for COVID to the National Disaster Response Fund. The court said funds collected by the PM CARES fund are those of charitable trusts and entirely different. The Congress expressed disappointment over the verdict, calling it a body blow to transparency and accountability of the government to the people. The former finance minister sought details of the donors who contributed to the fund in the first 5 days in March and questioned if they included Chinese firms. What is the amount received since April 1, 2020 and who are the donors? He said. PM CARES Fund was set up by the Centre on March 28 to deal with any kind of emergency situation like the one currently posed by the pandemic and provide relief to those affected. The Prime Minister is the ex officio chairman of the fund, and the Defence, Home and Finance Ministries are ex officio trustees. If the fund is beyond the ambit of RTI, who will answer these vital questions? Mr. Chidambaram tweeted. The centre on Wednesday decided to withdraw 100 companies of security forces from the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The decision was taken after a security review by the Ministry of Home Affairs. The companies of paramilitary personnel to be withdrawn include 40 companies of CRPF and 20 each of the BSF, CISF and SSB from the Kashmir Valley. Officials said the decision was finalized after the MHA reviewed the deployment of the Central Armed Police Forces in the Union Territory. A total of nearly 100 CAPF companies have been asked to withdraw immediately and go back to their base locations in the country from where they were mobilized to the UT after the abrogation of Article 370 in August last year. A CAPF company usually has an operational strength of about 100 security personnel. The Home Ministry had last withdrawn about 10 CAPF companies from Jammu and Kashmir in May. According to the MHA order, a total of 40 companies of the Central Reserve Police Force and 20 each of the Central Industrial Security Force, the Border Security Force and the Sashastra Seema Bal will be moved out of Jammu and Kashmir by the end of this week. With the latest withdrawal of security personnel, the CRPF will have a strength of about 60 battalions, about 100 personnel in each battalion in the Kashmir Valley, apart from very few units of other CAPF staff. That's all for now. Keep watching K News. This is Hardik Trivedi taking your leave. Be alert, be positive, be safe.
Tick tock, tick, all day long. Can't stop, got it wrong. AM to PM, each and every moment, I push it, I got it on. Can't stop, got it wrong. Tick tock, tick, all day long. Can't stop, got it wrong. No joke, be smile, life full of style. That's the way you rock. Tick tock, tick, happy and light. Tick tock, tick, morning, ho ya night. Tick tock, tick, can't stop, got it rock.
Live the Ken lifestyle with Ken Star.
जी मामा बस अभी पहुंची हूँ पता नहीं इतने दिनों में घर का क्या हाल होगा आई डोंट बिलीव दिस तुमने फिर से
कचारिया टाइल्स, जो